Well, it has been a really fascinating day of Test cricket here at Old Trafford. One, maybe a little bit of old-fashioned grinding Test cricket. Huss, what did you make of the way England batted today, particularly when you had Rory Burns in there and along with Joe Root?
I loved today. I thought it was a fascinating, fantastic day of good, hard, honest Test cricket. I thought the Australians bowled really well. They had to stick at their task. They bowled a lot of good balls, but England, they fought so hard with the bat. They showed a lot of grit, a lot of character, a lot of courage, and it was just a good hard battle. And England did so well for so much of the day, but the pressure just got to them right at the end, and Australia were able to get a couple of late wickets and get some reward for their hard work during the day.
They were quite patient, I thought, as well. It's first they seemed to, I guess, Rory Burns in particular, him getting that score, he's been one of the best for England. They seemed to go forward to him earlier and then sort of pull back and try and bounce him out, which didn't work. Did you think that perhaps they maybe should have stuck to that earlier on?
I think it's been a common plan for the Australians to really attack him with the short ball, but I think initially they wanted to go full and try and make use of while the ball was new, see if there's any swing or seam movement there, and then if that couldn't get him out, then go to plan B, which is try and rough him up with some short stuff. It's had some success in the past. I think this pitch probably isn't as fast as some of the other pitches, so he was able to duck and weave and survive quite well. I've been really impressed with the way he's gone about his work. His defence is really good, and you need a good defence to be successful in Test match cricket, but he's also starting to play that short ball well as well and watch it nicely, and he's got great mental fortitude, I think. So there's some good ingredients there for an England opener to have hopefully a sustained career.
Now, someone else who was the England opener but ended up coming in a bit further down, Jason Roy. A lot has been done for him to get him into probably the perfect position for him to come and bat in. Has it worked?
Well, the result will say no. I actually thought he looked quite good. I was very impressed with the way he came out and played really straight early. Gave himself a bit of a chance, gave himself some balls to get in and get set on this pitch. He copped an absolute beauty from Josh Hazlewood. That ball seamed back through the gate, smashing into middle stump. Tough time to come out and bat. The Australians got that ball to move a little bit. It was late in the day. The light was starting to fade. But that's Test cricket for you. It's not easy. And he's going to be bitterly disappointed that he couldn't take his opportunity. The problem with Test cricket, there's so much time to think, and so he'll be back up in that dressing room tonight having to think about it, and he'll be going through all the negatives will be going through his mind. Come out tomorrow and watch, and he'll be thinking some more, and then he'll be in the field and be thinking some more. So tough time, but this is the rude reality of Test match cricket.
Another one that have been a lot of questions about him in that period between 50 and 100, of course, Joe Root. His conversion rate's been talked about a lot. Again, we had another period where he wasn't able to go on with it. As someone who has spent a lot of time batting in the middle, what do you think it is that's preventing him from going on to make those big scores?
Oh, it's hard to say. He was doing a lot right. You know, he had to fight so hard for his runs today. And look, to be honest, he played and missed a few times. So as a batsman, you could nick any one of those deliveries. There was a nick that actually went between the keeper and first slip. So again, he could be out at any time. But I thought he played magnificently again. You know, showing that character, that fight, that pride of playing for his country. He knows the Ashes are right on the line here, and his team needed him to play a big innings. Okay, he wasn't been able to go on with it again today, but still, it was a quality innings, and he also was undone by a great piece of bowling.
Yeah, especially I guess when you look at the way England have batted in the first innings in some of their other tests, there was a lot more application today, but it was made difficult for them by some terrific bowling. You talk about that Hazlewood wicket, but in some ways the pressure was really put on by Pat Cummins with an incredible spell later in the day.
And a long spell too.
Yeah.
Pat Cummins, he beat the bat so many times. He had so many near misses. He could have easily have picked up 2 or 3 wickets in that spell. It was quality, high-class bowling from the number 1 test bowler in the world. But so often it happens that you get through that tough spell and then the next bowler comes on and gets the rewards for that. So I actually was a little bit disappointed with Nathan Lyon today. He was definitely below his best. I thought he bowled too short to the left-handed Burns, who played him quite comfortably. And just they're so used to just bringing Nathan Lyon on. He keeps it so tight and bowls so few loose balls, and that enables the fast bowlers to rotate from the other end. But I felt he was just below his best today, and that sort of stopped the Australians really building that pressure from both ends. But I'd have to say Cummins and Hazlewood were outstanding.
They were, and it's hard to believe that Josh Hazlewood wasn't in this side at the start of the series.
Unbelievable. He's been incredible. Since coming into the team through this Ashes series, he's bowled so well in every single game. So I couldn't believe myself that he wasn't picked initially in the first test. Maybe it was a bit of a sting in the tail for him, and he wants to try and prove a few people wrong, and he's been awesome.
Now, you mentioned Nathan Lyon and perhaps being a little bit under par today. The crowd here, especially in the party stand just over there, were doing their absolute best to remind him of that missed run-out chance in the last test at Headingley. Well, could that have played on his mind at all?
Without doubt. And look, I don't want to sound like I'm being harsh on Nathan Lyon, because, it's tough. He's been through the ringer in the last probably week or so. He would have been replaying that in his mind, the missed chance, the LBW that wasn't given out. The Ashes were Australia's. If he had have just caught that ball, you can't get over that just in a hurry. And then suddenly the crowd start, cheering every time you catch the ball. Of course it's going to be on your mind. He's only human. And so it's difficult, and I know I feel for him, but again, this is what Test cricket's all about. Somehow you need to put what's gone out in the past out of your mind, put the external distractions of the crowd out of your mind, and just concentrate on what your job is in the team. And as I say, it's easier said than done.
It's all much easier said than done. The follow-on is still a long way away, even after a day of really tough grafting for England. But have they done enough, do you think, so far? They're 5 down now. It's a long way away.
I think they would have been relieved that they were taken off early tonight. I think there was still about 40 minutes left of play, and Australia, they just had their tail up a little bit and picked up a couple of quick wickets. They could have easily picked up a few more tonight. So they'll be relieved they could get off just 5 down. I think they're still about 95, 97 short of the follow-on. So they'll be nervous about getting to that follow-on mark, and Australia will be pushing hard, I think, first thing in the morning to try and give them the option. I'm not sure they'll make England follow on, because I think the forecast is pretty good for the next 2 days. I think they'll try and bowl England out, then push on with some runs, let that pitch deteriorate a little bit more. Hopefully Nathan Lyon can come into play on day 5 when there should be plenty of rough for him to work with. Now,
one bowler that we haven't touched on is Mitchell Starc. What did you make of his performance today? Because it occasionally seemed to be a bit scattergun. He only bowled, I think, 11 overs. Yeah. And is that something, the danger of only having a 4-man attack, that if they are made to bowl for a long time again tomorrow, that it might just show a little bit?
Yeah, it's a good point that you make, and it'll be interesting to see how the likes of Hazlewood and Pat Cummins in particular pull up after doing a lot of work today and a lot of hard work. I think Mitchell Starc definitely below his best, no question about that. He looked a bit tense and just needs to relax a little bit and get into his work. There was one spell in the middle that I thought he was just starting to find a bit of rhythm, so that's a good sign. The good thing about Mitchell Starc, though, he is lethal against the tail. They call him the mop because he mops up the tail more often than not. So from an Australian perspective, they pick up 1 or 2 more wickets. They might just throw the ball to Mitchell Starc and say, come on, clean up the last 3 or 4 for us quickly, and then we can get in and have a bat. Or maybe make England follow on.
We talked about this the other night. Who's the happier side today? Because you felt for quite a bit of today England might have been, but in Australia being patient.
Yeah.
What do you think right now?
I think Australia are on top. England had to work so hard today, and I think they'll be exhausted mentally and physically. Just the amount of effort that you have to put in just to survive, in such tough, sustained, fast bowling and good spin bowling as well. So I think Australia will be really happy that they got some reward late in the day for all their hard work, and I think that's put them ahead in the game. However, if they had have still been 2 down at stumps, then they would have been, feeling on top of the world. So it sort of ebbs and flows the whole time, and that's why we love Test cricket so much. But I think Australia are on top at the moment.
Yeah, well, we do love it. We did love it today. It was a really gripping day of Test cricket. Who knows what's in store for tomorrow? England, they're 5 down and they're still a few runs short of Steve Smith, I think. So anything could happen tomorrow. Make sure that you stay logged on to ESPN Cricinfo all day for all the updates and news and coverage of the play.